Good morning, everybody. I tell you what, I'm excited to be here. I hope you are too. I want to start off by just saying thank you. Thank you that you even showed up, and I apologize in advance if you don't like it. Nonetheless, I'm trusting God will do the work. With that said, I do want to say thank you seriously for being here, and I want to say thank you for really House and Church and Pastor Ryan and the team who makes this possible. If you don't know what they've been through and what House and Church has gone through to be here today, you really should go to Discover Houston and just listen and find out more. It's a great church, and it has a church that really believes there's a hope for everyone. And just, again, thank you to Pastor Ryan and everybody who lets me be here today and give you a message. Speaking of a message, so I want to get you to picture something in your mind. So go with me for just a second. Picture this. It's nighttime. On the African savanna, the sun went down about an hour ago, and the heat is bleeding out of the ground. And there's a herd out on the open grass, a few hundred of them, packed close, the young ones tucked in the middle where it's safe, and they can't see much. But they can feel something. The animals, they sense that they're not alone. And they're right. Out in the dark, the pride has already moved into position. But here's what most people don't know about how lions actually hunt. And once you see it, you'll never unsee it. The lion that does the most damage isn't the strongest one. It's the oldest one that does the most damage. The one whose body is past its prime. Worn teeth, slower legs. He couldn't run down a healthy animal anymore if his life depended on it. So he has one job, and he's perfect for it. He circles wide, all the way around to the far side of the herd, opposite from where the young, fast, silent lions are crouched in the grass. And then, in the dark, that old lion does the only thing he has left. He roars. And it's a terrifying sound. It rolls across the plain and it shakes the air in your chest. To every animal in that herd, that roar means one thing: death. Death is coming, and it's coming from over there. So the herd does the most natural thing in the world, the most reasonable thing. They run. They run hard. They run very hard away from the roar, away from the sound of death, straight into the young lions waiting in the grass. Naturalists actually have a name for this. They call the old lion's roar driving the prey. And here's the thing you have to understand. That roar had no power in it, no speed, no teeth that could catch anything. That old lion couldn't have run down a single one of them. The roar was a bluff. It's the one thing in that entire hunt that couldn't actually hurt them. And yet, it's the thing that drove them straight into the thing that could. The herd didn't die because the danger was real. The herd died because they believed the loudest lie. And today, I want to talk to you about the voice that roars in the dark, because the Bible names two lions, and they sound exactly alike. Peter says it in this way in 1 Peter 5. He says, "Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour." And then we hear in Revelation chapter 5, "Do not weep. See, the lion of the tribe of Judah has triumphed." Two lions. One roars to devour you. One roars because he's already won. And if you can't tell them apart, you'll spend your whole life running from the wrong one, straight into the thing that actually wants you dead. But here's the truth about your enemy. He's not a lion. He's a liar. He's a liar with a lion's voice. Jesus called him the father of lies, is what John tells us in chapter 8. So that's what he is, the liar, the lying lion. All volume, no authority, all roar, no teeth. And the real lion, the Lion of Judah, watch what he does instead. In the very next verse, John turns to see the lion in Revelation. He says, and sees a lamb that was slain. The lion conquers by becoming the lamb, strength that lays itself down. So today, I want to share 4 lies. The liar, the lion roars at you. And 4 truths, the real lion speaks back. And we'll look at that through the acronym LION. The first one, L, lead, follow the herd. The first lie roars. Don't think, don't stand out, just move with everybody else. And it works. Because a stampede feels like safety. If everyone's running this direction, it must be right. But go back to the herd on the savannah, the herd that ran together toward the trap. Every single one of them was wrong together. Now hear me carefully, because I'm going to ask you to run toward people later. And there's a difference between a stampede and a family or a pride. A stampede is people moving together out of fear. A family is people moving together on purpose. The enemy doesn't mind you in a crowd. He minds you in a community. So the lie isn't be with people. The lie is just panic with everybody else. And don't hear me wrong today. I'm not telling you to walk alone. That's the enemy's whole game. And I'm not telling you to leave every crowd. I'm telling you to make sure you're running with the right crowd, with the right people. Not a panicked herd, stampeding away from a bluff, a pride, a family, moving together in the right direction toward the one who's actually calling you home. God's first word to a brand new leader named Joshua in Joshua chapter 1. He says, he didn't say blend in. He tells Joshua, be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Notice the reason God gives for courage. It's not be brave because you're strong. It's be brave because I am with you. The liar says, move because you're afraid. The Lion of Judah says, move because I'm with you. One drives you with fear. One leads you with his presence. The I stands for identity. You are what you've done. The second lie is quieter and meaner. It doesn't roar across the plain. It whispers in the dark at 2 a.m. when you can't sleep. You are the sum of your worst moments. That thing you did, that's who you really are now. The failure. That failure, it's your name. And of all the lies, this is the one we're most likely to agree with because we were there. We remember. We have the receipts on ourselves. Let me tell you a man who agreed with that lie for 40 years. His name was Moses. And if anyone had ever had a reason to believe he'd blown it, he'd blown his one shot, that his worst day was his whole story, it was him. Moses was born under a death sentence, rescued and then raised in the palace of the most powerful man on earth at that time. He had every advantage. And then one day he saw an injustice. He lost his temper and he killed a man. He thought nobody saw. Someone had. So what did he do? He ran. And here's the part I can't get past. He ran into the desert and he stayed there for 40 years. 40 years tending somebody else's sheep on the backside of nowhere. Why so long? Because shame doesn't just make you hide once. Shame builds you a house in the wilderness and then convinces you you deserve to live there. For 40 years, that lie whispered the same thing every night. You had your chance, Moses. You ruined it. This is who you are now, a murderer, a runaway. You're disqualified. And then one ordinary day, out tending those sheep, Moses sees a bush on fire that won't burn up. And a voice calls him by name. Not the name shame had been calling him, calls him by his real name. God doesn't open up with, Moses, let's talk about that thing you did back there in Egypt. Let's talk about that man you killed. He doesn't make him relive his worst day. he says, I've heard my people crying. I've seen their suffering, and I'm sending you to set them free. 40 years, Moses had been answering to the name disqualified. And in one sentence, God called him by his name, Moses. You are sent. Moses, matter of fact, answers when he hears his name being called, he says, here I am. He recognized the name God was calling him and that had given him. Here's what I've learned watching people carry those labels. We'll answer to a name, the liar, assigned to us long after God has redeemed us, long after he already provided his mercy, his grace, his forgiveness, long after he's called us his own through the blood of his son. Now think about a lion for a second. A lion never lies awake wondering if it's really a lion. It doesn't audit its last hunt and decide whether it's disqualified. It doesn't earn a title by performance. It simply is what it was made to be. Its identity came before its behavior. And the gospel says the same thing for you and for me, louder than any whisper at 2 a.m. Your identity was never built on your record. It was bought by the lion who became the lamb. Peter tells us again in chapter 2, he says, you are a chosen people, God's special possession. And notice who wrote that. It's the same Peter. It's Peter again telling us, who warned us, by the way, about the roaring lion 3 chapters later. Before Peter ever tells us who's hunting us, he stops and tells us whose we are. He wants your identity settled before the roar ever starts, because a person who knows their name doesn't panic at the bluff. The liar roars your failures because he can't change your name. The Lion of Judah already signed it with his blood. The liar keeps you chained to your worst day, but a chain the Lamb has broken isn't a chain anymore. It's just a story of what you've been set free from. The O stands for own your ground. You're exposed. The third lie says you're not protected. You're not covered. You have no ground to stand on. Anything can take you down at any moment. And so people live anxiously, scanning the grass, bracing for the next blow, guarding everything and standing on nothing. But watch a lion in its own territory. A lion isn't nervous about its ground. A lion settles into it, lies down in the open space, and dares the threat to come. Here's what's true. Whether you'd call yourself a believer today or you're just checking this whole thing out, you have ground. You have life. You have people you love, and you have people who love you. You have work that's yours to do. Someone who depends on you, and that's real, and it's worth defending. Be alert, Peter says, not because you're defenseless, but because you've been given something that matters. Vigilance isn't fear. It's what you do for who you love. And here's the deeper thing I'd invite you to consider. The ground you're standing on was bought for you. You don't have to earn your place on it. A shepherd doesn't watch the gate because he's scared. He watches because the sheep are already his. John tells us that in chapter 10. He says, and his sheep know his voice. Jesus said it plainly, my sheep listen to my voice, and they follow me. That's the whole thing today, isn't it? You don't have to be the strongest sheep in the field. You just have to know which voice is your shepherd's, which voice is the lion in which you should be listening to. You're already wanted. You don't have to prove your way in. The liar roars to make you feel exposed, but you're standing on ground the real lion already bought and bled for. You're not trespassing in your own life. With God, you're home. The end. Never walk alone. Separate yourself. Here's the deadliest lie of all. Listen close, because this is how the lion actually hunts. Go back to the herd one more time. A lion can't take a healthy, gathered herd. It just can't, Too many eyes, too many legs, too much mass moving together. So the lion doesn't attack the herd. The lion watches the herd, and it waits for one, the one that drifts to the edge, the one that lags a step behind, the one grazing a little too far from the rest. The lion doesn't even create the separation. The lion just waits for it. Go back to 1 Peter, again with a new set of eyes. He says, the roaring lion is looking for someone to devour. Not everyone, someone. The one who wandered off. Do you see it? The lie was never really, you're worthless. Underneath every other lie, the real strategy was always the same three words: wander off alone. Here's what most people never learn about lions. The lion is the only big cat on the entire planet that lives in a pride, a community. The only one. Tigers, they hunt alone. Leopards, hunt alone. But lions, they hunt together. They raise their young together. They defend their ground together. A lion's whole strength is the pride around it. That speaks volumes, by the way, for if you make the choice to become a child of God, you have a pride of believers to surround yourself with. Which means a lion alone, cut off from the pride, is just a large cat in tall grass. An enemy knows that's true of you too. So when the liar, the lying lion, roars at you to isolate yourself, understand exactly what he's doing. He's not trying to scare you. He's trying to separate you because he can only devour what he can catch alone. So picture the two lions one last time. One stands out in the dark and roars, loud, hollow, desperate, hoping you'll run before you ever realize he has no power to follow through. Worn teeth, a bluff with a voice, the father of lies, the lying lion. And the other lion? Oh, he roars too. Don't ever picture him as weak, but hear the difference. The liar roars from fear to scare you, to scatter you, to drive you toward that trap. The Lion of Judah roars in victory, and he roars to protect his own. The prophet Hosea heard it, and he tells us this in chapter 11. He will roar like a lion, and when he roars, his children will come. One roars to make you run away. The other roars so you'll come. So here's the whole thing in two roars. The liar roars to scatter you. The Lion of Judah roars to gather you. And then watch this. Watch what this lion does. Further in Revelation, it says, John turned to see the Lion of Judah, the one strong enough to open the scroll, strong enough to end the whole story. And when he saw the Lamb, looking as if it had been slain. The strongest thing in heaven chose to become the most broken thing on a cross. The Lion of Judah proved his strength by laying it down for you and for me. This is how you tell the two lions apart. The liar, the lying lion, roars to take your life. The Lion of Judah roars to defend it, and then gave up his own to save us. So if you've been hearing a roar in the dark today, telling you to follow the wrong crowd, that you only measure up to your biggest failure, that you're exposed, that you'd be safer on your own, hear me. That is the liar. All volume, no teeth, a bluff from an enemy who was already defeated at a cross. And maybe that's you today. Maybe you've been told by a voice you've believed for years that you're only your worst moment. Hear the truth over the lie. That is not your name. The one who made you bought your real name back. And he's saying, heck, he's roaring it over you right now, louder than anything the dark ever told you. And maybe you're on the edge. Maybe you're that person. Maybe you've drifted off, a step behind, telling yourself you're better off alone. You don't have to stay out there. Not one more day. There's a place for you, and it's closer than you think. Listen, that roar you're hearing underneath everything, it's the roar that gathers, not scatters. It's the Lion of Judah calling his own back home, and it's calling you. So stop running from the wrong roar. Turn around. And whether you're walking back to something you wandered away from or walking toward it for the very first time in your life, hear me. This is a room that has people in a pride who are welcoming you in. And there's a room full of people in this pride who would love to have you join us. And even if it's not here at this church, it's the ultimate church. It's the capital C church in heaven. And that's not just for today. The same Jesus who's calling you home right now said, in my Father's house are many rooms. I'm going to prepare a place for you. In John 14, he tells us that. He didn't just leave the door open. He went ahead to get ready for you. He went ahead to make room for you. And you don't have to clean up first. That's the cool part of this. You don't have to belong already. Just walk toward the pride. Walk toward the community who's welcoming you in. Walk toward the Lamb who was slain and gave his life for you. And whether it's your 1,000th time coming home or your very first step toward him, you don't come in chains. The record the enemy kept reading over you, the Lamb already cleared it. The debt is paid. The record is clean, and you're free. Let's pray. Wherever you are today, just pray with me for a moment. God, some of us walked in this morning running from a roar, believing the loudest voice instead of the truest one. Thank you that the roar was always a bluff and that the cross has already won. God, give us ears to tell the two voices apart, to stop listening to this fake lion, this liar who's mimicking you, to stop running from a defeated enemy, and to walk the rest of our days toward the lion who became the lamb, who loved us and gave himself for us. And Father, we're not going to whisper this. You took our chains. You cleared our record. You set us free. So we're going to do what free people do. We're going to celebrate. Church, if that's you today, I want you to stand with us as we sing this song and remember that you are in fact free. Amen?